Hi everyone, I'll be teaching you all the detailed process on how to go about the drafting of this beautiful built-up peplum blouse you see right here on your screen, which also has a very stylish neckline, which is the number one reason for my recreation of this particular blouse. This is something you definitely want to learn, and it is 100% beginners friendly. With that much being said, let's get started with today's tutorial. So in one of the tutorials I dropped earlier on the channel, some people complained about me drafting my house girl basic bodies behind the camera. So because of this, I've decided to draft my house girl basic bodies right here on the camera. So this is for the purpose of those that do not know how to go about the drafting of a house girl basic bodies. Though I have a different tutorial on that uploaded on the channel. But that's by the way. The number one thing you need for the drafting of your half scale basic bodies is your pattern paper, and right here mine is folded into two. I'm just basically going to start drafting. So right now, from the top part of this my paper, I'll be coming down by 2 inches. So 2 inches to 3 inches is okay, but I marked 2 inches. Now I've connected that point into a straight line. So on that line now, I will label it my shoulder line. Now all my vertical measurements are going to be starting from this my shoulder line. So from that shoulder line, I got my chest line of 9 inches. Then I'll also get my under bust of 13 inches. Then my half length of 16 inches. I'll go on ahead and extend all these points I have made right here so far. So after that, I'm going to be working on my shoulder, but I'll go on ahead first to label these lines. So the first line there is chest line, the second line there is my under bust, but I mistakenly labeled it as my bust point, and the last one is my half length. On my shoulder line, I divided my shoulder into two. I marked 7.5 inches right there, and I'm also repeating the same thing on my chest line. Now I'm connecting these two dots from my shoulder to my chest line, and that is my armhole. So the next I'm going to be doing is to be getting my neck width. If you want to get accurate neck width, go on ahead and divide your bust circumference by 12. Okay, you get your neck width. So I did mine, and what I have there is 3 inches. I marked it right there. Then under my armhole line, I came down by 1 inch from my shoulder slope. Now I'm connecting that 1 inch into my 3 inches neck width. Okay, so from that 1 inch now to my chest line, I'm going to get the middle or the half of this my armhole, and I'll make a point right there. On that point I have this point, I'll go in by just half of an inch. Now I'll divide my bust circumference by 4 and mark the quarter of my bust circumference on my chest line. Now from this my shoulder line of my shoulder slant, I'll connect all these points together in order for me to get my armhole curve, which is very necessary. I was about marking my nipple to nipple point when I realized that I didn't mark my bust point line, which is 10 inches. So placing my tape on my shoulder line, I came down by 10 inches, which is my bust point. Bust point is basically the distance from your shoulder to your nipple. Okay, so you can see I'm correcting that other mistake I made right there to my under bust. Then this particular 10 inches I marked right now is for my bust point, which is basically my shoulder to my nipple. I'll also go on ahead to label that because this particular line is very necessary and important as well. So after that, I'll go on ahead now to mark my nipple to nipple point, which is 7 inches divided into 2 is 3.5 inches, which I'm going to be marking on all of these lines. Then after marking them, I'll use my straight ruler and connect this dot I have right here into a straight line. So you see what I have right there so far. The next thing I'm going to be doing is that on my center front, which is this smaller part of my paper, I marked half of an inch away from there. Then towards the side front, which is the bigger part, I marked 1.5 inches. So these lines I'm marking now is basically on the under bust line and also on the half length alone. Then I connected them together like this. From my bust point line, I came down by just half of an inch on exactly that's my nipple to nipple points line. Then I'm curving it like this into my under bust line on that I created earlier. I'll come to my armhole. on that middle point of my armhole. I will make a mark right there, and from my bust point as well, I'm going to go up by just half of an inch. I'll just connect this to meet that half of an inch I came up by from my bust point line. Okay, so you can see at this point we went up by half inch, while for the other side we went down by a half of an inch. So place your curve rule like this. It's very important to work with your curve rule. Then from the middle of that my armhole, I'll make sure that I connect this to meet that half of an inch I marked upward from my bust point. I believe that everything I did right here is very clear. So this is a called a princess bustier dash. Okay, then at both sides of the middle of that my armhole, I will go up by half of an inch and mark half of an inch below and reconnect it the same way we did for the first one. So my camera stopped recording. Apologies for that, it wasn't intentional. But go on ahead and also reconnect it the same way I connected the first one into that half of an inch I marked upward from my bust point. Okay, so that's basically it. Now on my chest line, I'm adding my sewing allowance of 1.5 inches right there, as you can see, because I'm now imputing my body measurement. I'll come to my half length as well and divide my waist circumference by 4. My waist circumference is 1 inches divided by 4 is 7 and 3/4. So I'm marking that on my half length right here. Then I'll be replacing this dart of 2 inches. When I measured it out, it was 2 inches. I'll replace it right there and also add 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance, just the same way I did for the chest line. Then I'll connect these 2 points together like this, as you can see me doing right here. So that is it for the body part of this our dress. I'm basically going to be moving to the neckline area. So we all know already what I said earlier. From my neck width, I'm going up by 1.5 inches upward this way. So I'm going to be connecting all these points now together as well. So whenever you make a point on your pattern paper, go on ahead to connect them together using your straight ruler. So after doing this now, I'm basically going to be marking just half of an inch away from that my neckline. So you see I'm marking it towards the center front of my paper. You can see. Then on that my neck width, I'll be going in by a quarter of an inch. So quarter of an inch is basically 2 lines from the tip of your tape right there. So you see, now I'm going to be using this cuff part of my ruler to connect these 2 points together. So that is why it is very necessary to always have your curve ruler with you, because using your free hand might not give you the exact same which you want. So I've connected this right now and you can see how perfect it is sitting. So now I'm going to be marking 5 inches below from my shoulder line and also try to create a square shape right here. Okay, so this is my neck depth at this point. You can make yours deeper than mine is 5 inches. You can make yours 6-7 inches depending on how deep you want your neckline to be. So I'll come to this side of the neckline and I'm just going to be marking 3 inches. Okay, then from that my neckline and that top part, I'm going to be connecting this like this in a curve. You can see, so at this point you can actually make use of your free hand. Okay, you can see what I did right there. From that point I connected it into that 3 inches. So at this point you can just play around with this particular stylish neckline. Okay, from that point now I'm going to be curving this out. Make sure that that point is pointy. Okay, so I'm going to be curving this out, so you can decide to come down by 2 inches and stop exactly at that 2 inches point. Okay, just watch what I'm doing right here. I don't mean to confuse you all at all. Just try to do something creative. Okay, you can make yours longer than mine and you can make yours shorter as well. So when you get that your second point like this, you go on ahead and now reconnect it back into that 5 inches neck depth. Okay, yours can be higher, you can see I'm trying to show you right there, and yours can be lower. It all depends on how you want yours to come out. So I'm just trying to recheck the neckline to be sure I got exactly the same thing and I was satisfied with what I have I just went up by extra quarter of an inch and now connected this back into my neck depth. So that's it for the neckline. That's as simple as it is. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing for the armhole, because it almost slipped my mind, is to be extending that other last curve by 1 inch. Then I'll connect it this way and now reconnect my armhole into my bust circumference. So that is basically it for the drafting of the front part of our dress. All these parts I'm marking this marker are going to be cut off entirely. So now I'll just go on ahead to cut out my dress. So from the bigger darts, from that other wider part of the dart, you can see how I'm cutting this through all the way to this other side, then to the armhole, and also cut out the side as well. Then I'll keep the side aside, and I'll also cut out for this smaller dart I have right here, cut through the curve I have under my armhole into the armhole area. Then I'll move over to my neckline. So watch the parts that I'm cutting. So after connecting these dots, remember what I said, always connect it into a straight line. So I'm just going to be going ahead now to cut this out. So also from that my neckline or my neck width, I'll also go on ahead to cut this out. Cut out the shoulder. Make sure that you follow that curve on that neckline area of your shoulder. Okay, so by the time I was done with this is what I have left. I'll just be labeling them my center front, which is CF, and my side front, which is SF. So the next I'm going to be cutting out will be for the back. You can look how beautiful this is. This is beautiful. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. So I'll be cutting out for the back right now. So behind the camera, I already drafted at the half scale basic bodies, which is the exact same thing I did for the front, but the back will not be having a princess that armhole. It's just going to be normal. Okay, so I have my chest line and just my half length alone, then 1 inch from this part for my zipper allowance. You can see I labeled it right there, and I also have my nipple to nipple point that's right there, which I connected from my half length into my chest line. My neck width still remains 3 inches, and I went up by 1.5 inches from that my neck width. So I also made these points which I'll connect into straight lines, as you can see right here. So after that, now on this zipper part of my neckline, I'm going to be coming down by just half of an inch. Then I'll use this curve part of my ruler and connect it to my neckline. But before I did this, I was supposed to come out by half of an inch, just the same way I did for the front part, like this. I was supposed to come out by half of an inch, and on my shoulder I was supposed to go in again by a quarter of an inch. All right, so do this before connecting this slanting into your zipper allowance. So when I did this, I had to go on ahead and reconnect, okay, from that point, that half of an inch point, into this other side. So I'll be using my marker to highlight this part so that you know the parts that are needed. Okay, so that's basically it. So after highlighting it now, I believe it's very clear to all of you on the parts that will be needed. So I had to just measure out my neckline and my shoulder, and right there I have 6 1/4. I'm going to be getting the front part of my pattern paper. I'll also measure out from that collar there all the way to the shoulder, and also have 6 1/4. So make sure that yours align so that you don't have issues when you are joining your pieces together. Okay, so having done that, now I'm going to be marking my dart for the back. So on my dart leg, I moved away by half of an inch at both sides, and I went up by 5 inches and reconnected it this way. So this is how a normal waist dart looks like. Okay, this is not a bustier dart at all. So after this, now I'll just simply go on ahead to replace this my dart. So this my dart is 1 inch. I'll replace it right there and connect it back into the body part of my dress. So see how I'm doing it. This is the best way you can actually go on ahead to replace your dart. From the base of this my half scale basic bodice on my zipper allowance, I went up by 3/4 of an inch. Now I'm slightly going to slant this into the body part of this my dress. So this is to eliminate any sort of bulge that might come up at the end of the sewing of my dress. Okay, so I'm just going to be add allowance 1.5 inches because this pattern paper was not wide enough for me to add my allowance all at the same time. So that is it for the back part. I'm just going ahead now to cut this out. So I've cut out the side, the base, now the armhole. I'll also follow the shape of the neckline and cut it out as well. I'll be assembling the front pattern paper and the back so you all can see what it looks like. Then after this, I'll be going on ahead to cut out on my fabric. After cutting out on my fabric, I added my sewing allowance all around where it is very necessary. I also cut out my lining piece. So the sewing aspect of this particular tutorial will be in the second part of this tutorial. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate. Do have a lovely time ahead of you all. So some other time I'll see you on the same channel. Bye.